On today's video, we have unlocked Amanitore, a 4th placement Mightiest Governor in 401, allowed us to do so, and with 1400 Legendary Commander Sculptures, we're not expertising her just yet. In this video, I want to explain to you why that is. I want to give you a point of view to think about when you're thinking about expertising commanders, and talk a little bit about why she reminds me of Artemisia, a archer commander that is going to be marked for one specific role, but very quickly will turn out to be much better in another one. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Shout out to Leadership of 401. Appreciate you guys letting me get that 4th placement in order to get Amanitore unlocked. Now, of course, the reason that happened is because I am planning on expertising her in the future. Of course, Yosh had to make an appearance in the video. I am planning on expertising her in the future, but not just yet. And here is why. And this applies to probably majority of players in Rise of Kingdoms, if not more than majority, but there's no really more. But anyway, you get my point. Most of us are not players that have hundreds of thousands of commander sculptures out there. I have skipped a good amount of commanders throughout the last few months, give or take, in order to be able to expertise the exact commanders that I needed. So we have lately expertised Nebu, and we are now hoarding because we knew that the archer commanders coming out could be extremely impactful, like Gilgamesh and Amanitore. However, most of you guys, and including me, aren't necessarily capable of expertising every commander. We got to make the best decision for our accounts. And so, first and foremost, I would urge you not to do what bigger players than you say. It's very easy to watch some of the bigger spenders, including some of the creators out there. There's a lot of creators that spend a lot of money that just expertise commanders and or expertise all of them because they have like an impactful role in their kingdom. However, don't necessarily follow your idols, but rather follow people who are around somewhere where your level is, so that way you don't make mistakes that will cost you a lot more than it costs them. For me, 401 is not in KVK. 401 is working on dropping Imperium. 401 is not going to go into a crazy KVK anytime soon. Unless we do Osiris League and she becomes an extremely impactful Osiris League commander, I have no reason to not hold on to my sculptures and watch other KVKs going on right now become essentially the guinea pigs. Yes, if you can avoid being a guinea pig, I totally recommend you not to be one. Why? Because sometimes you expertise a commander and then find out that it's not exactly as you thought, and then it's going to suck. When you have enough data out there and you can see enough things, then you can make a better decision. Now, a lot of you guys have been relying lately on a ton of simulators. I've been seeing people like simulators taking over like people's decisions. But I got to remind you that simulators, once more, are dry mathematics, and they cannot take into account the human factor. They cannot take into account ingenuity of people, and they cannot take into account the situation you find yourself on the field or in a rally or a garrison. So while the simulators are a decent point of reference to start your train of thought, the best way for you to know if a commander is worth expertising is by seeing how it operates on the field. Yesterday on stream, I explained why I think she is going to be much more interesting than people think she's going to be. But before we talk about that, I want to draw your attention to a different commander in Rise of Kingdoms that went through the same exact turbulent history. And that is none other than Artemisia. When Artemisia first came out, everybody checked her as a garrison commander. If you don't need a garrison, archer garrison, she's useless. Especially because of her 4th skill, which had a 50% chance of silencing her troops for 3 seconds. And people are like, psh, 50% on silencing for 3 seconds. Increase the damage by 50% for 5 seconds means you get increased damage for 2 seconds and 3 seconds you're silenced. But nonetheless, the silence is something we don't want. Everybody checked her out of the picture because of silence. And when other commanders came out, like Theodora, for example, which when expertised, I mean, other debuffs, they do, I believe, include silencing, but if it's, is it control? Yes, control includes silencing. When Theodora came out, everybody's like, ooh, Artemisia, Theodora on a garrison. Now this is looking good. No silencing, I guess, or something like that. But regardless, everybody thought of her as a garrison commander only, and only later on in the game, she became more of an open fielder than a garrison commander. I believe, and for the record, I had her expertise, but because of the reset, I managed to somehow, very luckily, land a 5-5-1-5, 1 being the garrison skill. So as long as we don't 100% use her in a garrison, she's going to remain like this. This is also why I did not expertise neither Gilgamesh nor Amanitore, because I can't expertise Gilgamesh, Amanitore, and Artemisia back at the same time. So we're going to have to see how things play out. Amanitore is being looked at as a garrison commander, and I think that's a huge mistake, regardless of the fact that she has a garrison tree as part of her as part of her talents. And the reason for that is if you take a look at her skills, she is very, very good when it comes to damage boosts. She's decent in terms of her damage, attack boosts. Archer deal increased damage to infantry. Really, really good for infantry garrisons, for even potential rallies, for crying out loud. Archer defense bonus. We have trigger chances to dispel. It can trigger. You can get 2% chance to dispel all going attack enhancements on the target, which is kind of wild. Direct damage factor being added even further. And then on top of that, immune to silence. An active skill reduced target by 100 rage for 2 seconds. This skill can be triggered only once every 10 seconds. I mean, seriously, just this part alone makes her a perfect pair for Artemisia. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the garrison. Amanitore should potentially be a really good open field commander. However, we have a problem. She might be extremely targeted. This is one of those factors that your simulators will never take into account. People are like, we've done the simulations. She's fantastic on the field. Well, I know that if I see an Amanitore on the field and I'm a cavalry commander, I'm like, straight to that commander. That's for hella sure. Do you see any AoE? I don't see any AoE. Do you see anything that's like, cool, straight at her, get rid of her as quickly as possible, not too tanky. And so, of course, she's going to get targeted. I do think that we're going to see her a lot more in the open field than we're going to be seeing her on a garrison. But the whole point of this video was to explain to you all that at the end of the day, first and foremost, a commander can be multi-rolled purpose, and so don't look at her as only a garrison. Consider her as an open fielder as well. And secondly, stop relying only on simulators or on bigger players than you that can do whatever they want because they just spend 10k a month and that's that. At the end of the day, if you want to know what's best for you, I urge you to find a good KVK going on, or to watch any streamer that is looking through KVKs and watch how long Amanitores last on the field. Watch how long Amanitores last on garrisons. Because even the 1v1 tests and all the possible mathematics in the world will still not give you the 100% random variable, which is human behavior. If there's enough cavalry out there on the field, Amanitore can be completely useless both on a garrison and in the open field. And if there's enough infantry out there, she might be wildly good. And so you got to remember that it's not cut and dry. The only reason I'm making this video is just to kind of stop this train of, oh, I'm expertising her, the stats are great and all that. Remember that there's more to it beyond just the numbers. And at the end of the day, remember that you got to do what's best for your account rather than follow others who might have bigger means than you. And I can give you an example. I would love to finally get Guan going. And I can literally right now get my Guan expertised. However, for my account and the way my account is built, having Guan would be probably not, and wouldn't further what my account has been doing for 3 years now. I've been more of an archer player. I've been more of a garrison player with more emphasis on infantry and archers. So having a open fielder as amazing as Guan, a rally leader as amazing as Guan, does not necessarily benefit the direction my account has been going in. If I was a big player with tons of sculptures available, I wouldn't only get Guan, I would have probably gotten Pakal and Herald too, and I would have had this arsenal of commanders. But pick your specialization, figure out what you're doing, make sure that you spectate KVKs, you ask for reports, you look at situations, and then make your own choice. Personally, I think Amanitore is going to fit fantastic with my arsenal of archers. I only wish Cyrus would have had that same opportunity, but at the time Cyrus came out, we did not have enough sculptures to focus both on Cyrus and on Nebu. Nebu was the decision, and you know what? Nebu might have been a really bad mistake, considering rallies with Nebu might not be a thing anymore. We don't know it. And so you will end up making these kinds of mistakes. I don't regret expertising my Nebu. He's another great piece on the arsenal. However, don't necessarily try to chase the meta. Don't necessarily try to chase the top tier players. Try to figure out what's going to be the best utility commanders for the longevity of your account. For me, I'm missing a couple of archers. Once I get these two out of the way, I'm fairly confident I have the arsenal I need to progress through the game, and then I can cruise a little bit until newer meta comes out, and it allows me to improve my account even further. Of course, at the end of the day, there will be some commanders that will end up getting shelved for a little bit, including some mistakes that you might make along the way. But as long as you're not trying to chase the meta, and as long as you're not trying to go above your means, you should be good to go. For me, Amanitore is a fantastic fit. I will be expertising her for sure. The real question is when. Right now, I'm in no hurry anywhere. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate you video. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe down below. And for the record, I'll say it again. 640 sculptures are already marked in her name. Okay, so it's not like we got this commander and she'll never get expertise. There's just no reason to do it right now. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.